Wait, play a little ditty. Let's go. And 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and go.
Every week.
Come on, add some flair.
Wow.
I am the voice of God.
Flair.
I am the sovereign prince of Egypt.
Guys, we were just talking about Prince of Egypt moments before the show started. Man, great movie.
Great movie.
Great flick.
First time I saw it, I cried.
Did you cry the first time you saw it?
First
When
time I
was that?
saw it was like only a year ago.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah, I
Wow,
cried.
a classic.
But
That came out in 1998, and you only saw it a year ago?
yeah,
Man, you know how
I've
many,
never seen Anastasia.
You know how many years of nightmares fueled of mine from that one scene of like when he's having the vision and the little hieroglyphs are running and he's running and he sees all the babies like going in the water.
Going into the water.
Nightmares. I literally had a nightmare
I think
of
I've
that.
had a nightmare of like running down the hallway. That
Yes,
like,
right? And he's
the
like
giant
flat.
pillars.
He's like flat standing.
Yeah.
Should we watch it tonight? We should watch it tonight.
Well, welcome back to What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch as always, Cara Tafolla, producer. Annie the Skovmand, resident Prince of Egypt historian. Can you give us a couple of facts about that movie?
Yes. One fact, it came out in 1998. Another fact, it's based off of the story of Moses in the Bible.
Okay.
Another fact, it's not completely biblically accurate, but
Okay,
it is
what is
catchy.
though? Is anything interesting ever completely biblically accurate? Good.
The Passion.
No.
Do you like the Passion?
I've never seen it.
Oh gosh,
I never
I
seen
feel
it.
like it would be accurate
For
though.
people who don't know what we're talking about, it's the Passion of the Christ, and it's
That's
like
the
Isn't
number
it,
one
like, crazy?
Christian movie
it
of all
is
time or
like
something.
an
No,
in
Jesus Christ Superstar.
detail replica of what it would look like to truly crucify someone. So it's like extremely gory, so horrific. They play that in youth ministry for us,
Oh,
like
yeah.
as a sermon.
It
One
was
time.
like a whole thing.
No.
They're like,
Yes.
watch it. This
Yes.
is what he died
Yes.
like.
No.
And we're like,
Yeah.
oh
A
my
few
gosh.
things shaped like the early 2000s, Christians. And it was that movie.
Yep.
It was Audio Adrenaline. And it was, the Columbine shooting, right?
Whoa.
Okay. Tell me.
Mike.
Listen, tell me you never had, because of that girl that was like, that they asked like, oh, are you a Christian? And she was like, yes. And then she got shot. That like, we had whole like,
Lessons about that?
not
What?
lessons, but like,
Brian?
that was so a sentiment. In the
Really?
early
That?
2000s, Annie, you didn't get the privilege of being a Christian in the early
I
2000s.
wasn't a Christian in the
I
early
did.
2000s.
Okay, and John can attest for this
I
too.
guess I was
there
a
was
Catholic,
whole
so.
sermons about like when you at some point in your life you're gonna have a gun to your head and somebody's gonna ask you, do you believe in Jesus?
Like the
and
Columbine
are you
girl?
gonna be
Oh my
yes?
God.
And she became like this hero. I'm telling you, John.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I
You know what I'm
can back
talking
up.
about.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well,
It was conservative Christian culture, so I mean,
Dang.
it is what
We
it is.
loved it. We ate it up. It was great. And Audio Adrenaline.
I don't even know what that is.
And go with me to my father's house. Come and go with me to my father's house.
Okay,
It's
it's
a
weird
big,
Christian
big house.
worship.
with
Okay.
lots and lots of
Okay.
rooms.
Thank
It's true.
you.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
I knew that from
true.
youth ministry.
Fun.
And there's
one bread,
Yes.
one body,
yeah, get that hymnal.
one
Gosh.
Lord of all. That's all you get.
It's great. It's like going to a Carpenter's concert every time I go to mass. It's fantastic.
Except it's Robert Philly singing.
Oh, he kills it. I'll tell you
kills
that.
it.
Kills every time.
Man,
listen,
did
well-
you guys? Oh, sorry, I was gonna touch on
ahead. Oh, yeah.
Columbine.
Okay.
Whoa.
I think
I was
we've
gonna-
spoken enough about Columbine today.
No. Did you guys ever have the assembly? Granted, I mean, you guys are only like a year older than me. I had an assembly in
Yeah,
school.
don't act like we're
School
ages
shooting
away.
assembly?
Did you guys ever?
It was, but it was like
When the 10
it
kids
was-
died.
No, it was the brother of supposedly the first girl killed in Columbine.
Okay.
And he and his family started this organization where they would set up these assemblies and they would like show a video presentation about, the signs of bullying and all this stuff and how it can, video games are dangerous and,
Right,
school
right.
shooting and this like
And they
history
are.
behind this girl.
And they
And,
are.
and they found her like her book, like her sketchbook that had, you know, a picture of an eye crying, and it had like the exact amount of tears was the number of people who ended up dying in Columbine and all this stuff. Like she was almost like prophetic, like this really weird like sob story of how this girl was like telling her friends that she felt like she was going to die young, and that's why you should make the most out of your life, and that's why you need to be the best person. And then it comes out that they made the whole thing up.
Oh no.
They
Don't
made this
tell me
whole thing
that.
up.
You know what? I've heard a lot of stories about that around like horrific events where people pretend like they were there or whatever.
Yeah.
It,
They
like,
did this as an
9/11 had the same
assembly.
thing. They had a lot of people who
Came
had
out
these
and were like, I was
elaborate
there
stories.
and it messed me up,
And then
now I
some
survived.
journalist like does like this deep dive.
They're
and
like,
figures
yeah,
out.
they
They're
were
like,
they were two.
He's never been to New York
states
City.
away.
crazy.
Yeah, it was this whole thing, and you had to like sign. You had to sign like an anti-gun violence like poster at the
God.
end of like. It was like Caitlin something. I don't even know. I'll look it up. But it was this whole thing, and it was like their daughter did die in Columbine, and they just wanted to like
Wow.
make
Zhuzh
something
it
more
up a little bit.
powerful
That
to
sounds
like
like
really connect with people. But
No
it was,
drugs
like,
week in elementary school.
You know what I want to know
I
is
just found a
who
photo
figures
of,
that
like,
out
tying
though?
a ribbon.
Yeah,
Oh.
Red Ribbon Week.
kind of ribbon.
That's
Like
what
I
it's
will
called.
never do drugs.
I want to know who cracks the case on that though. Like who
think it's
is
just
it
like-
just somebody that
it's
feels guilty and just
a
like
teacher.
goes,
Just some
no.
jerk.
A random teacher.
It's just somebody that was like, I don't think that happened. I'm gonna look it up because it's never like a do-gooder. It's always somebody that's like, see, he was lying.
You know what I'm saying? Like cracking the case. Like how, first of all, when somebody does something like that, like how do you even like go about, obviously you just start telling people.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just feel like it's hard, like, especially when you've developed such a secure lie of like,
Sure.
me and one other person knows, and we're both so far into this lie that like, there's no coming out of this.
Well,
like,
you think
with
about
unscathed.
that. Okay, hopefully I'm not breaking like the glass, shattering the fourth wall for you here. But you know that book, Heaven is for Real?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That kid that
Yeah.
he died and came back
And
to
came
life
back and
and
saw
saw
heaven.
God.
The parents made
and
it
they,
up.
yeah,
Totally
they
made
came,
up.
Yeah, they came out and said that they made it up.
Yep. And the whole like the dad was like feeding him these stories and
Yeah.
lines and like what to tell reporters and stuff. And
So crazy.
it's just sad, man. Like you know
Why?
stuff like that. Like, but maybe it's like, I mean, obviously, like it sucks because you lied to everybody and you pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, and
And you had a
you
whole
probably
movie made from
financially,
it.
benefited from it. But like maybe
Sure.
at the root of it, you were just trying to like inspire people.
Yeah.
And like, there's nothing wrong with storytelling. I think that's like a inherently good human thing that we do. We make, we write stories and we make movies, and it's like,
Do you think that's changed though? Like I know, well, people are always getting caught in lies nowadays, but that kind of like piggybacking off of horrific events like that, and just like people wanting their 15 minutes of fame. Do you think that's changed with the culture that now is like you can start a podcast, or like it's like making something that's public view is like so easy now?
yes. And we've talked about it kind of on this show before. I think this next generation's like BS detector is so keyed in.
Oh yeah,
They-
they're.
You know what I mean? Like they see through
Have you?
everything.
Are you guys on Scar Girl TikTok?
Oh no.
Drama.
yes,
What is that?
yes, I am.
Scar Girl?
I find out
Yes.
about all the sides of TikTok because this creator, Elise Myers, has been making these TikToks of making fun of all the different sides of TikTok.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
So
she
then
even
you
made
end
one-
up on the different
Yeah,
sides
so
of
she even
TikTok.
made one where she was like Elise Meyer TikTok, and she's like making fun of how she does her own videos, and it's just like the classic
that's
setup.
funny.
So the Scar Girl video is like all these creators are going on this deep dive because there's this girl who has this like massive like dark brown scar covering her whole like
That looks like it
cheek.
has like little hairs coming out of it.
Yeah, like almost
Okay.
looks like a mole or something. And the whole thing is like in 2021 she got like bit by a dog or scratched by a dog.
Okay.
And you could see like where she had gotten cut.
2020.
Oh, 2020. You could see where she had gotten cut and it's healed. And now it's like this massive brown scar that looks fake. And everyone's like, the scar changed directions. And like they're going on this
Oh,
deep dive
my gosh.
about how like there's no way this scar is real. And
And she'll do videos of her like trying to wipe it off with like a like a makeup wipe or
Like-
something.
But it's
This is a compilation video of like how her scar started,
okay.
what it looks like,
Okay.
yeah, then the
and
now
now
version
like
is
that.
really,
Yeah.
It's barely
really-
there.
Okay.
and then it turns like dark
Turn
black.
into this.
Dark black, like
Yeah.
Like it's like almost looks like the color of like a dark mole.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
And so then there's
wow.
like these
Maybe-
dermatologists, there's these scar experts on TikTok being
I've been
"No
seeing
scar."
videos of girls going, this is how she do it. Because she takes the first one, she literally takes like a Q-tip in. She
Mineral
takes a makeup
water.
wipe and then she takes a Q-tip in micellar water,
Okay.
which literally takes off waterproof
Anything.
mascara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she goes over it, but she fully misses it. So all these girls are putting eyeshadow, like to try and fake it, eyeshadow, and then like eyelash glue,
Okay.
and then like a spray on top, and they literally take a makeup wipe and pretend that they're actually like really doing it, and still nothing comes off. And they're like, "This
Oh
is how
my
she's doing it.
gosh.
She's
So they're
she's putting
blowing it open.
eyeshadow
Yeah.
all over her face."
where do we fall? Because
I think the scar's
Oh.
fake.
is the
I
scar
think it's
real?
so
Is
fake.
it fake?
I think it's fake. Just
Because here's the thing: is that nobody knows your story, right? So
Yeah.
you could go on and be like, "Yeah, this is my scar," and you could literally, it's TikTok. Everyone in the
we
world's
know
there.
her story because we've seen her scar and her scar heal.
No, that's fine. I'm saying like I'm also a skeptic, right?
Yeah.
But it makes me skeptical about those people, like because you could post anything on the internet, and that's
Yeah.
like the old
I-
saying. It's like
I think it's
the
fake.
experts come out, you know,
Because people
Like,
have been posting like, I have the same exact, like from the same exact accident, and this is what my scar looks
It's
like
like,
today.
well,
And
you-
it's the light pink, like what a
if
scar
I had
looks
a
like.
scar and somebody was saying that, I'd be like, you don't freaking know me. You don't know what I've been through.
Yeah.
Have you ever
I
seen a
think
scar that
that-
looks like that though?
What?
Well, I
You don't
think
know
that
what my
you-
scar is. This is
skin-
my scar.
skin's
Leave me
weird.
alone.
You never know. Like
Exactly.
you never know what
Stuff
could happen.
happens all the time.
The thing that makes me think it's fake is the shape is different.
Yeah.
From literally
It's fully
before.
different.
It's like a
I'll have
fully
to
like
review the
different
tapes.
shape.
It's
Or,
like
one's like
squared.
turned up and one's turned down. It's like
Yeah. It's like
Oh my
squared up
gosh.
here, and then it looks like it's a swipe, where her other scar was only like this big.
Wow.
And like
Scar
pink.
Girl.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just so funny. Like, why would you make that your brand?
Yeah.
I mean, there's truly nothing else like interesting about you. I guess.
Yeah.
The scar
Oh,
changed
sad.
directions.
How sad. But what do I know? I don't know Scar Girl.
Yeah,
maybe this
Scar
is
Girl.
like a life changing thing for her.
I absolutely love the internet sleuths of this
Yeah.
next generation.
Oh my gosh! You spent a whole weekend with a bunch of teenagers
Dude,
up on the mountain.
they are so like they're a different breed, truly.
Wow.
I took
And that's all.
me
that's all.
myself. I took like 25 high school seniors.
Good for you.
Skiing myself. I'm not generous.
Okay.
I went up with a church group, and we just
First of all, I love that bit.
I am very generous.
personally took
I picked
Annie's
25
kids.
high schoolers out.
out of the
Annie's
world.
tots. Annie's tots.
Annie's
They all called Annie's tots.
Annie's tots.
And you're paying for their college
and
tuition.
I'm paying for their college tuition. You better get full rides, all of you.
No, so you went with the church group up on the
Yes,
mountain. You
and
were the
they
chaperone.
Yeah, I was one of like 6 chaperones or something. And we went skiing. It was the senior ski trip. I have never been skiing. You could go snowboarding too. You just had to decide. I decided skiing since I heard it was easier.
Yes. Much easier.
I
That
like
should-
skiing. You never been skiing before?
I had never been skiing.
Okay, but
Now
this
I've been.
weekend, now you've been. What do you think?
It shouldn't be a thing. Tear
What do
down
you
the
mean?
slopes.
By the way, I could have put money that you were going to come back saying.
It wasn't that I didn't pick it up. Like I did it. I got the gist of it. I understood it. I hated it.
I understood it. No, I know what
You didn't
you're
like
doing.
going side
I know what's
to
going
side,
on here.
or
I
did
was
you
a
do
pro.
pizza
I
French
was a
fry the
pro,
whole time?
and,
I didn't do pizza
crushed
French fry
it.
the whole time. Pizza's way harder. People are like,
Yes.
oh yeah, just pizza. That takes way more work.
lot of-
Stop.
than-
I know. Then just turning
A
your
lot of
body.
ankle
Yeah.
strength involved there.
Oh, it felt like my
Yes.
shin bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My tibia. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Shin bone was fine.
Is gonna snap in half the whole time with
right.
those
Yeah.
boots.
Because
Yeah.
you're tilted up. Like
Yeah,
you're
it was horrible.
Fully like
it was absolutely horrible. And then I fell at one point in the sun, and it wasn't even like. It wasn't really that, like I fell because then I was looking at people falling on skis. Like you have to get a lot of momentum to like truly like eat it on a ski.
Sure.
done it.
Like hard to do it. So I kind of had to like honestly just like go to the ground because I like hit this little slope and then the ski kind of turned, and then because your whole ankle
Yeah.
is connected, you can't move your ankle to like fix it. It like got all weird, and I was like, well, I just have to lay down
going
for
down.
this to be better. And then to get up, I had to take off the whole freaking thing.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Wow.
And then
I-
click back in.
How did how do the kids do? Are they all skiers or?
A lot of them started snowboarding. There was like, out of this group of 25 students, there's 3, maybe 4 that had done it and like
Previously.
go to do this with their family.
Yeah.
The rest of them had never done it.
Go doing.
Wow.
Wow.
That-
I counterpoint. I love to ski. We go. We've been a
Really?
couple of times. I'm like a skiing fool. Snowboarding, cannot do it to save my
He
life.
literally decided because his dad snowboards.
He's like, it's just like surfing.
and he
like, just
literally
jump up.
decided like I'm gonna go on
it's
snowboard.
Nothing like
he
surfing.
literally like could not stand up for more than 5 seconds.
I'm like,
It's good
Yeah,
that Kara's
it's-
here.
yeah.
Watching
She's
the
really-
students try
She's really
it.
giving us the honest review.
Yeah,
over here.
no, that's absolutely true.
Watching-
I'd probably never try it again. But I love to ski. I'm like the downhill, like this thing
Did
going
you have
on.
the sticks?
I had the sticks.
The sticks help a lot.
I think it also.
The
I went to
sticks.
Big Bear, and it was sold out.
Dang.
So then it was
wedged.
Pass.
packed, and then it started sleeting.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's like
ugh.
slushy rain.
Yeah. Oh.
And then it started snowing, and
Bad
then it started
conditions.
slushy rain. And so then I think if it was dry and I wasn't worried about the billions of kids we had with us that also didn't know this and were like falling down. And then also like students that didn't have like proper like gloves and stuff. So then I'm like giving away my gloves. And then after I gave away my gloves, I was like, I'm not doing this
that.
again. I'm not doing
Definitely
this.
not.
And so like going on the bunny slopes to kind of learn, which my mom had warned me. She's like, don't go on the bunny slopes. They're awful. Like,
That's where bad skiers go.
well,
Why
yeah,
would
and
you
she
do
was,
that?
and she was like, honestly, it's like they're like so shallow in it, and the like, I don't slope that it's hard to even start, and it's like it's hard to learn on them a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like here are these people bombing down this hill, having no idea how to stop, and I'm like, this is terrifying.
It took
Totally.
me a while to figure out how to stop.
Do you guys know, like, did you ever hear of Ski Week? Like, did your school have Ski
I
Week?
just learned about
Can
this.
you believe this?
Isn't that crazy?
You know what Ski Week is?
No.
It's for
I
like
always thought it
frou-frou-
was like
frou-frou
it's for like
schools.
rich schools, rich kids.
Sure, it
Yeah.
is.
That they it's like an extra spring break. It's
It's
like
a
go
win-
hit the slopes.
an
'Cause
extra
this is
winter
like,
break.
But you choose what to do.
Yes.
You can go to the snow, or some people will do like a beach internship, so they'll surf all week.
No, it's specifically for like that
It's
might
like-
be more in Southern California, but
It's like the families that are gonna take their kids out of school anyway for that
Because
week
it's like the
to
week
go
to
to
go
like
skiing.
Aspen and Vail. So they're like, we'll just
Awesome.
put this in the school calendar
Yep.
because
I
so
love
many
rich
students
people.
leave.
I thought it was like an 80s movie thing, but then I found out like it's a real, like skiing.
So our friends
like,
the Pinions
Yeah.
told me about this, and
About
they
Ski
said
Week?
that in San Bernardino, like school county, they have it because
Wow.
people just take their kids out of
that
school
makes
and go to
sense
Big
because
Bear.
it's right up the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I was like, ski week, what?
Yeah.
And also, like, I think
Crazy.
it's a horrible sport, so why would we do that?
I love
just
if
baffled
I
by it.
can't do it, no
It's
one
not.
can. Demolish the slopes.
I also like. I just didn't like it was a crazy weekend.
Sure.
And I think the like lift we went to, the like the what's it called?
The lift, the ski lift.
The ski lifts, the
The
runs we
slopes.
went to, the slopes we went to, brought more of like a party crowd, and as a group taking a bunch of Christian high schoolers,
Partiers.
like
I got that.
it was people started ordering shots of tequila at 9 a.m. We literally got there. Our lift
my
tickets were
gosh.
from 8 to
Nice.
4. We were like, our lift tickets were like 8
That
a.m.
sounds
and so
fun.
we were like 8 to 4. And I got there, we got all of our rentals. It's like 8:45 and we
people are ordering
walked past
shots?
the bar and people are ordering shots of tequila. And I was like,
Yep.
uh-oh.
Keeps you warm.
I mean,
Look, you're
honestly,
gonna freeze up there. That sounds.
That's the only
great.
way that I feel like I could enjoy skiing.
I
or-
think
or
if the
snowboarding.
weather had been better and I wasn't worried about children, I wasn't giving away vital pieces of equipment
Gloves.
to
Hey,
kids.
we'll
Sure.
go back. We'll go back.
I would love.
I was great at getting off the lift. I had a great teacher. Her name was Taylor Todd. She's
I know what you're gonna say. We need to go to a
We
cabin.
need to go in a cabin, like freaking what the podcast ski week.
Sure.
Would be so fun.
Do an episode
You've
there.
never been,
Do an
bro.
episode
Listen.
there.
Have you never been skiing?
I snowboard. I used to snowboard. I've
I
been
don't.
like,
I don't believe you. I
I've
need
been
you
a couple
hyped,
times.
bro.
No,
We
I'm
need
You've
to-
excited.
been snowboarding?
oh yeah, a
We
couple
need to
times.
hit the slopes, bro.
I never
I
did
didn't like
skiing
the
because skiing
feeling.
felt like a lot of lot of elements, but I think I might like it better.
I think I might like snowboarding more. And
Snowboarding
everyone
is a
was
lot like just you got to
everyone
follow.
was like, "Oh, Annie, your snowboarding is way harder," which I believe it's harder. But I think I'd like it more because I feel like you could stop easier. You just like sit down.
See, when people say snowboarding is like surfing, you can move your feet around.
Yeah,
Snowboarding, you're stuck.
I did like that about skiing, but I also
Sure, but it's also it's. I mean, to be fair, I've never surfed, but it's kind of this. It kind of feels like the same movement though, because you can't move your feet.
Yeah, it is.
But
It's completely different.
Really?
It's absolutely different.
I've never.
I mean, the
surfed,
way
so
I
you're the
surf,
authority.
I like to like move around,
Yeah.
kind of shuffle around a little bit.
The thing that I was jealous of is I had switched with a student at one point, and she wanted to just use my skis, so we switched boots, and she took my skis, and the snowboarding boots much more comfortable.
Oh.
Yes.
Much more
Agreed.
comfortable.
Agreed. They're not so like
ski boots
stiff.
are like
On the
hard on the
ankle tight?
outside, and you have to like clip them in. And snowboarding boots are like a little bit more plush.
Oh, 'cause then you
and it
strap
clips
'em in,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing's strapped to.
Here's what I'll say. I think what's hard about skiing and snowboarding is that it's hard. It's a hard like hobby to get into. You know what I'm saying?
And
Because you can
expensive.
rent
Yes,
those
it's
things,
expensive.
but unless you have like. All the right clothing, like that's when it's fun. When you have like all the right clothing and all the right
Sure.
accessories.
And you can just, like,
but like if you're
run
not
up
in
the
that
mountain.
world, when you rent that stuff, it's not like
Listen.
easy.
Listen, anyone
You go to
can-
Big Five and you get a bib. That's all
Well,
you got to
here's
do.
the thing: is anyone can pick up anything at any time. If you wanted to, like, let's say, like, you were a famous actor and you just wanted to be like a NASCAR driver one day, you could just do it.
You could.
if you had
And-
the funds.
And you know what? I know someone who has.
Oh,
We all know someone who has.
Do you like that transition? Ed?
Yeah, it was a great
Very good
transition.
transition, very
National
good.
treasure known
Frankie Muniz of Malcolm in the Middle.
thought you were gonna say
of
he was
Agent
in
Cody,
National Treasure. I
Agent
was like,
Cody
no.
Banks is now a race car driver.
as Agent Cody Banks, the star of Big
that
Fat
movie.
Big Fat
Liar.
Liar.
Oh,
Big Fat Liar, good one.
that is such a good movie.
That's
We should
what
watch
I
that
know
we should
him
tonight.
watch
from.
that tonight.
That's a classic.
That's what I know him from.
Yeah,
I
me
never
too.
watched Agent Cody Banks.
You never watched Malcolm in the Middle?
You really
I
think
did
Cara's
like later on after I saw Big Fat
Malcolm in
Liar.
the Middle is a good one.
That was a
That's
classic.
such a great show. Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Did you see the whole rumor about him where it was like Malcolm doesn't
remember.
even remember
Yeah,
Malcolm in the
he had
Middle.
like a bad
Yes.
like head accident or something.
But
and,
he
like,
just doesn't remember because it was child. Like
turns
Yeah.
out totally not true.
He was like, yeah,
he's
I saw
like,
that
yeah,
rumor.
I
was
remember
like,
it,
what?
but
Hey, you
I
know
don't
what-
remember
what's
all of
crazy?
it.
I feel like rumors were so much easier back in the day. Like when
What
we
do
were
you mean?
kids, like things. All the things that we were
It's
like
because the
told,
internet
Yeah,
sleeps.
totally.
The 16-year-old internet
completely
sleeps of the
wrong.
day.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
It was
That
like
is
things would
true.
go around and you're like, that's not true at all. Like now we're like, no, that never
Dude,
happened.
That was okay. So that new Blue's Clues show came out, right? Where it
No.
was like all the so
Yeah.
they made a Blue's Clues movie, right?
Oh.
With
you
the
know.
three
This
guys.
With
is
the
my
three-
thing, and I didn't see this.
Listen, Blue's Clues was your thing?
I don't think it
Oh,
came
yeah.
out.
You missed it.
I don't think the movie came out yet.
No, I think it did. They did a lot of press for it, and here's why I know this: because the original Steve did an interview, and he's like,
Yep.
he basically walked away from acting. He was like, I finished Blue's Clues, and I wasn't really an
It
actor.
felt like he was getting too old.
yeah.
Yeah, his hair was.
But he was
Yeah, he
talking
was
about
balding.
how that was why did they replace Steve? The rumor is because he went to jail. He was like there were
Steve
so many
from Blue's Clues got arrested
he was like
for
there
like
were so
drug
many
use.
Yeah, turns out no he didn't. He was totally fine. He's just like a
good.
regular guy. He was like, yeah, there was a lot of rumors when I left the show, like, oh, did Steve die? Did Steve go to jail for drugs? He's like, no, I just walked away from acting. He's like, I'm fine. I never been to
Well, he
prison.
was wasn't
I'm
his,
very
his
much
big
alive.
thing.
So
he was
good.
self-conscious about going bald. that was
it
like his big
I
thing.
think it was
Oh, I
part
don't
of it.
know.
It was like a children's show, and he was supposed to be like 16.
Yeah.
and
But
he's
that I
going
literally
bald.
was like, and then apparently same thing with Barney too. Like
Oh,
this was
Barney.
like another documentary. All these like documentaries are coming out
No,
because
didn't Barney get diddle? Like the original guy in the costume
Yeah.
diddled.
it turns out no. Like apparently he wasn't a diddler. Like there was like a rumor.
That is just so, by the way, so shocking.
Coming
Just the
from-
word diddler
What, diddler?
Diddler.
is weird.
What do
I'm
you mean?
sorry. I just like can't
What do you
get
mean?
behind that.
You can't
Just
get behind
immediately
diddle.
like Kara's like, didn't he like get diddle or something or diddle or something? What?
You know what I'm talking about.
I know
though.
what you're talking about, but I hate it. I
Yeah.
just want to say I hate
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
I see a clip coming.
Listen,
hate
Yes.
that.
no. Apparently he got dragged
Wait.
for being a diddler. Turns
he
out
wasn't.
he totally wasn't. He He was just a normal guy. And the dude that was Barney would get like death threats. And he had to like have security in and out of the studio because people were like, F you, Barney. Like, because it was a children's cartoon. Like,
F
that's
you,
how much
Barney.
crazy, like, pent up aggression that just like normal
world
humans are
has.
dealing with, man.
Yeah, we're a little crazy. We're a little unhinged. The Frankie Muniz becoming a NASCAR driver is pretty hysterical to me.
Be Real just went off.
Oh, be real.
I really just took it. Maybe did I miss yesterday's? Maybe I missed yesterday's.
To be real.
Great podcast, guys.
John, you're technically in
Great
this.
podcast.
We'll cut this out. We'll cut this out.
No, we're not cutting this out. I
No,
wanna be
no,
in
we're not
Be
going to
Real.
cut it out.
Be real.
Why did my notification go off? That's weird.
Freaking me.
He's one of those ones that seems that he did okay as a child star. I mean, does he
Yeah.
have like any issues? I
Not
mean,
that I know of.
I don't know. He's a NASCAR driver, so
He literally, I saw that posting. There were so many things that happened last week. Frankie Muniz came out as starting his own NASCAR.
I love that. I
He
love
came
this
out
verbiage.
as a
came
NASCAR
out
driver
of the non-NASCAR closet.
and is now in the NASCAR closet. And we're just waiting for him to come out of the real closet. No, I'm just
You
kidding.
think so?
No.
Frankie Muniz?
I don't know. I know nothing about him. Maybe. I'd be proud to have him on that side. I lie.
Wow. Again, so cancelable.
Ladies just
It's
say the
hilarious.
darndest things, man.
It's hilarious. Things just fall out of her mouth these days. You're like, what the
You're like-
is going on?
Yep. Okay, so you know what, guys?
Maybe
It's
we
been
can edit
it's been a
that
great
out.
run. Let's just go ahead and do a quick sign off just in case.
No,
It's been a
that's
great
a
2
side note.
years. Thank you so much.
I'd love to have him on that side. Is what
Ally.
she just said.
I love the ally.
Ally. Yeah.
Anyway,
my
he's a
God.
NASCAR racer now.
No,
and then another huge
sure.
thing that happened. We're segueing.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm in.
Do you think we spent enough time on Frankie?
Well, do you have anything else to say besides the fact he's
He was a
NASCAR?
great child actor. You know,
Do you
I
think
love
you could be a
those
NASCAR driver?
Agent Cody Banks. It was a great movie. If I had the stunt training that he had on movies such as Big Fat Liar
Stunt
and Agent
training.
Cody Banks and Agent Cody Banks 2,
You know
working
who?
alongside Hilary Duff
And Amanda Bynes.
and Amanda Bynes in Big
Bring
Fat
her
Liar.
back.
Man, I
Wow,
love that movie.
what a lucky boy.
Nana Bynes has a podcast, doesn't she?
Amanda
Really?
Bynes?
That would shock me.
I'm
What is
pretty
she
sure
doing?
She does.
She was
Oh.
going
She
to
talks
fashion
about-
school at
Go ahead.
FITM.
Really? That's
Yeah,
where
and
Fashion
I was-
Institute
little
of
Tina graduated from.
DM.
Yeah, FITM.
FIDM.
Let me
DM.
see if this is who I'm thinking of. Oh, maybe not.
Are you talking about Christy Carlson Romano?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
she
thinking
has-
of.
she has a
does
podcast.
have a podcast.
Sorry, that's
Yes,
what I'm
is
thinking
that
Kim
Ren
Possible.
from
Yes.
And Ren from
of.
Even
Yeah,
Stevens.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what I'm talking about. She has all those child stars on. Those
and,
all
they,
hotel
and they're
ones.
like outing the trauma.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Allison
And
Allison
Stoner.
Stoner, yes.
What did she
hers is-
do? What happened to her?
She was just talked about all the crap growing up, the
Disney Channel.
spotlight.
The
The
Disney Channel
girl,
program.
yeah, she was talking about like just like them basically like cutting her out of stuff and like
Yeah.
just blackballing her,
Totally.
like or blacklisting her. And then the girl from Zoe 101, she
That's the
was
basketball spinoff, Zoe One-on-One.
It's only one-on-one. That is funny.
the girl from Zoe 101.
Zoe does basketball. Zoe
She played
101.
Nicole.
Okay.
And I don't know her actual
Nicole.
name, but she like left
Nobody
after
ever
the
does.
second season, I think. And then she like came back the very end or whatever. It turns out because the bullying on set
Oof.
from
Spears.
from Jamie
main girl?
Spears,
Jamie Lynn
was
Spears,
so awful that she would like turn everyone against her, and then she was like, you know, like pitted as like, oh, you're
Dang.
being the crybaby. Get
Yeah,
get
you
over
don't
it.
think she was just bummed that she wasn't such a big star as her, her counterpart,
Jamie Lynn
freaking
Spears?
Jamie
she
Lynn
was like
Spears.
she was like
She's out, by the way.
Yo.
She was.
Why? What'd she do?
Didn't she play like a pretty big role in the conservatorship for
yeah.
Britney Spears?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and then she talked about Dan Schneider taking pictures of little kids' feet.
Oh yeah, that's a whole
guy.
thing. And really, and how has there not been a halt on like all child acting in the Nickelodeon and Disney? Like, has anyone had
Because Dan
anything
Schneider
good
has
to
been
say?
fired.
Okay, but like
He was the big
He's
problem
not
in
the only one,
Nickelodeon.
though. He's
Yeah,
not the
like,
only one. You know, it's
Wouldn't they
But all
like just
those
try and
kids-
burn
All
down the
those
whole
teen shows,
establishment?
he was the big
Yeah.
problem.
Everybody is like, yeah, he was freaking weird to work with, and Nickelodeon just like raked in the money because of it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, none of them are doing well. I mean,
Nobody.
Drake and Josh aren't doing well.
well,
Drake,
Josh Peck
Josh
seems
Peck
to be
is
doing
doing
okay.
Really?
well.
I don't think he's doing that well.
He's been in a ton
Really?
of
He's
movies.
in a freaking Chris Nolan movie next
Yeah.
year.
Really?
Yeah.
Drake Bell is definitely
Oppenheimer.
not doing well. Though.
Oh, Drake
Drake Bell is
out.
unwell.
He has his-
More like Drake unwell.
He's a Spanish star now.
That link you sent me
What you
about
talking
the
about?
Josh
Yeah, but
Bell.
he got caught. Like,
Some
diddling kids.
yeah.
streamer
He's a diddler.
was like looking up old stars and they look up Drake Bell and they find out like he like obviously has like all these issues and
he's
they're
like-
like, how's Josh doing? He types in Josh Bell and
it's
it
the
pops up like the
baseball
San
player.
Diego Padre
Oh, yeah,
baseball
Josh
player
Bell.
Josh Bell and he's like, what happened to Josh Bell? And it's funny.
It's
Okay,
like, what happened to Josh?
it works on two levels because
that's
one,
funny.
this guy thinks that they're like actually
Actual
brothers, which is the funniest part to
so
me
good.
because they're like, yeah, it's brothers. Like, because we grew up watching the show, but like, he hasn't connected that like they're not actually brothers.
No.
So good.
No.
Josh Bell.
Oh, and another thing that happened this week, Prince Harry.
This is Annie on
dro-
the week.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, it's all right. Go ahead.
Let's hear it.
Annie on the week.
And-
Prince
whoa,
Harry
that's cool.
dropped his memoir.
Yeah,
He did.
Spare.
I have. You know what? I have been meaning to talk
And
about
I,
this.
I read half of it.
You read half of it.
I'm on chapter 32.
Did you get it?
Oh,
I did the audiobook and then I
You listened to half
Okay,
of it.
so you've
Well, I
you
listened
listen.
to
Well,
it.
listen, and then you can also like.
did you get to the part where he talks about putting the cream on his pee-pee?
No, haven't gotten
Oh
there yet.
my
Okay.
God! Yeah, spoilers, Kara.
Yeah,
there's a
what the heck?
great part.
Just get ready.
Guys,
Just get
there's-
ready.
Did you
there's
guys finish it?
No, there's this
No,
TikTok sound that's going around,
And it's him.
and it's him
'Cause he
talking
does the
about
audiobook.
he like got chafing on his wiener or something,
Classic.
and so somebody gave him this like bomb
Told him to
stuff
use
to
this
put it on,
expensive cream.
But then he remembered that it was the same cream that his mom used on her face. Princess Diana used on her face, and he literally like writes out
talks
his
about
thought process.
opening
He's like,
it and
as soon as I
smelling
smelled
it.
it, I thought of my mom's lips, and I rubbed it on my penis. Like he literally,
yeah, it's a lot of
Eek.
trauma dumping.
It
A
is
lot of trauma
like
dumping.
dude really wrote that.
Yeah.
He had to record it because he
Yep.
does the audiobook,
Yep.
right?
And now we have to listen
And
to
then he
it.
said, "Yep, that's good. Post that." Yep.
Yeah, weird.
What's your biggest takeaways? Because that's all I know about it so far.
So
It's a 15-hour audiobook. So
It's-
you
yeah,
don't have the
it's-
power to do that.
yeah, it's
Nice little car ride up
interesting.
to
It's
Big Bear.
It's interesting in the same. I heard a lot of reviews of people just saying like, "Oh, he's complaining and he's being a baby."
Yeah.
It's a lot of like kind of just verbal processing of the trauma of like the thought process that a 8, 10, however old I think he was 10 when his mom died,
Mm-hmm.
and like the coping mechanism. He didn't believe she was actually dead
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
years.
I heard that
Yeah.
too.
So he convinced himself that she was in hiding because of everything, and that like.
Oh, that's so sad.
And then
Just messes you
it's
up.
like it talks about how like his brother, it starts in an interesting way where he's coming back for Prince Philip's funeral, and it's right after he and Meghan had left, and he and his dad and his brother walked into this garden, and they get in this
Right.
big fight, and they basically, which is kind of sweet, he calls William Willie the whole time.
No.
But then
Willie.
he calls him Willie.
I rub the cream on my willy. I mean,
I mean, my brother.
I
No,
mean,
he calls his brother Willie, but his brother calls him Harold. His
Ew.
brother doesn't call him
Very
Harry.
professional.
And so there's like this whole
Pass.
thing, and basically William and his dad are like, we don't know why you left, like truly. And so and that's how it starts. And
Dang.
he's like, this is why I left. And so then he
Wow.
goes back to like the very beginning of their childhood and kind of just explains like he was called the Spare. William was the
Right.
heir and he was
Yeah.
the spare. And it was something that like, it's like a nickname they called him in the house. Like everyone
Where's the
called him
spare?
it. The heir and the spare,
Well,
And he said like from a young childhood, like he was told basically like
You're second.
if your son, if William needs a kidney, it is your kidney you're going to give him. If William needs bone marrow, you will be giving him bone
he's
marrow.
the heir
Like,
to the throne. Sure.
yeah, like
not?
you
hey, that's the
literally
way
are.
it works, buddy. You're the spare.
Okay, listen.
It sucks.
Be real with me.
Yeah.
Do you buy it?
Do I buy like?
Do you buy it? Because we talked about it a little last week.
You hate the Royals.
We fall on different sides of the
Yeah,
aisle.
yeah.
Just do you buy it? Because I'm willing to change if he's truly emotionally traumatized.
I
Well,
truly,
I could
it is.
guarantee that.
It is, I think, a very accurate depiction of how everyone handled life after Princess Diana. He talks about Camilla coming into the family and
Sure.
saying that they fully supported their dad and Camilla, but all they asked was that he wouldn't marry her because there was no need.
he did marry her.
and he married her. You know, but it talked about basically how.
Yeah, he said that they begged him, didn't they? Like him and William like begged him not.
Yeah,
to do
he
it.
talked about, and so they.
Because what did that end up doing for them? Just messing things up, or what?
It's so she could be the queen consort, I believe.
Oh,
she
that's
wouldn't
right.
have held
That's
her
right.
title as anything.
It's kind of shady.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But there's like this whole basically what happened is like Diana dies and William's old enough that he's sent off to boarding school as normal per usual.
Yeah, sure.
And then like there's a while where Harry's alone because he's like not old enough or he's not, whatever. And then he gets he gets changed boarding schools. And so like his whole life, his mom dies, he gets taken away from home, puts in this different house with all these random kids that like weren't his usual.
Sure.
And everyone's just like skating around the fact that, oh my gosh, yeah, your mom died.
is dead.
Like,
Dang.
oh yeah, and you're royal. Like, and so it's just like a crappy childhood in a way. But he also throughout the whole thing is like talking about like, I get how grateful I was. Like I had a great childhood. Like, but there's stuff that wasn't handled correctly.
Dang.
And like, that's to no fault of theirs.
Right.
They did it the best they thought, they thought they were doing their best. It just turns out it wasn't.
Dang.
Yeah.
So I think it
interesting.
truly is him, but I also think there's an air of like someone should have like sat him down and be like, hey, maybe we go through like therapy and like,
Yeah.
some editing
I mean-
because it really feels like trauma dumping.
I mean,
Or
obviously
he
he's
literally
like,
had an editor tell him that, and he was like, "No, I'm going to do what I
No,
want."
they-
he's
they-
clearly like
whatever he
trying
puts
to
on that
make
page,
a
they were
buck,
gonna
dude.
do. Yeah.
Like,
Push it.
I mean, obviously, like you've got this, this thing that nobody's got, which is like royal trauma, and you're like, I'm gonna make a book of it and publish
yeah.
it and make, he's probably
Especially
sold
for
like multi-million copies
he
now.
is the most
Yeah.
sold copies, and he's surpassed Michelle Obama's book, which was
Well,
the most
especially
sold.
because
Dang.
not even that.
And it's like the
It's
back
not even
view.
celebrity like gossip. It's like from the royal family, which historically never talks about
Sure.
anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And not to say that he shouldn't talk about
Well, there's
that.
probably
I think
a bunch of things
Yeah.
that
But that's
he
what
still
makes it
can't
so
say.
interesting. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
but like, and so now you're so obsessed about like, I need to just not be a part of this family. I'm excommunicating myself. We're going to America to be safe. Like, we can't go anywhere
they
without
in
people
Canada?
looking
Yeah.
at us. And
Yeah,
now
they're in
you're
Canada.
putting more of yourself out there in the world
Yeah.
to make money.
Yes.
I
Well,
think
you gotta
it's
make money
story.
somehow.
Well,
You-
I
you gotta
don't
get
think
that
it
money.
was-
Exactly.
from what I gather so far. Obviously, I haven't finished the book. I don't think they left necessarily because of how the royal family was treating them. I think it was, or not because how
It's probably an amalgamation of things.
Well,
I-
not because how the media necessarily. I know
Wow.
that was like one
You
of
like
their
that
big
one?
thing is the
it was
media.
like a lot towards
That
Megan.
was
I think
freaking
it. I think it
awesome.
was a lot of like.
You guys missed this well. Whatever.
weird-
Pretty sweet. An amalgamation.
Ryan used a big word.
I don't know
At
what
least
that
6
means.
points.
so-
That's a
At least
Scrabble
8
winner right
points.
there.
Wow.
How many points would you say that word is?
12.
That's a royal word.
Unless
like-
you hit
is that
that
10 letters?
double
M-A-L?
points.
I'd say 10 points.
L-G.
if you spell it right.
A.
Okay, whoa.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Nation.
I think that it's more of like they left more of like out of their own frustration with like the family and the situation they were in, and he like what was he wasn't gonna like amount to anything. They were just gonna be stuck in this rut of like royal duties, and they weren't gonna be given a life.
And he was saying that they were treating Meghan the
Markle.
same way that they were treating his mom, and like as
Yeah.
this like outsider, like
Plus racism.
plus
Plus
racism.
racism. But like that was, I mean, she was warned of that way beyond. I listened to there was like a whole documentary thing, and I listened to this thing about it, about how she was like obsessed with Princess Diana, and then she ended up marrying
How weird.
her son. It was a weird thing. It was like how she
Sure.
had like a Princess Diana birthday party and stuff like that when she
Sure,
was
yeah.
little,
So
and then
weird.
she like ends up.
I mean, she was just
This is
like
weird.
celebrity.
Wouldn't you, though?
she
I
put
mean-
it in the universe.
If you thought you had a shot with like,
Her like 2000.
That
You
is,
know?
that is crazy.
Right?
That she had a dream and she pursued it
I
and
think
she
that's
did it.
that's like
And she
mission
did, and
accomplished.
she
Prince
married
Harry.
I think that's
Harry.
mission
The
accomplished
Sperry.
right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's hey.
Okay,
honor.
so
Good honor.
unfortunately,
That's
on
awful.
another segue, Lisa Marie Presley died.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yes.
she did.
very
and
sad.
I've been hearing a lot about her life, and I didn't know she was married to Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And I guess
And Michael Jackson.
and Michael Jackson. I guess Nicolas Cage
For 2 years.
and her were together for like, I don't know, like a couple months or something. and she filed for divorce after seeing him wear the robe that Elvis died in. And he I guess
No way.
Elvis, he was like Nicolas Cage is like this giant Elvis fan, and like marries Elvis's daughter. And then she like comes downstairs and sees him
hold
in
on,
the
he might be onto
robe.
something there.
And that gave me the same
And
vibe.
literally divorced him because of that.
She was like, no.
Yeah, that's very weird.
I feel like that's
Like manifesting in a weird
of
way.
him to do.
That's weird. I mean, it probably
think
is
it's
sitting
weird.
in
It's
like,
like but that thing was like shadow box. Like that was not like
Was
something
it?
that was just in the
I don't
closet.
know.
well, I don't know.
Sure
I think
it was.
I think it was before Graceland became like the big
a
museum
thing.
it is
He didn't-
now.
I mean, the
That's
end
the
of his
only thing
career
she
was
had
like
for a long
kind of
time.
sad, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like he was this huge star. Obviously,
my mom
we
saw him
look
live,
what in like the 1970s.
70s, and she said he was drunk, didn't remember
Yeah.
any of his own
Yeah.
words,
So crazy.
any of his songs.
Just
that
because he was
like
so
"Ooh,
constipated.
We don't realize how accurate those like Vegas Elvises are, but that was
Well,
literally like his career.
I was
That
seeing the
was him.
crazy things that were like the Graceland property is not going to go to the family anymore.
No, it's gonna go
No,
to the
she
daughters.
sold it.
But now it's going to the daughters. That came out today.
Yeah, that came out
I
today.
But it's going to the
wouldn't have
daughters.
been surprised if it went
Also,
to like
side
Capitol
note-
Records or something.
Side note:
Yeah.
Priscilla's still alive. Elvis's
Yeah.
wife is still alive.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
daughter died.
But she
Yeah.
divorced
Yeah.
Elvis like early on.
They've been divorced. I think they were only married for like 10 years or something, right?
But also, he married her when she was 14.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
so all this stuff
weirdo.
came up. Oh yeah, they're like
Speaking
10 years.
of-
They're 10 years apart too. He's 24.
Yeah. Speaking of diddling.
I also feel like
Wait, Elvis impression over. Elvis impression over.
all right,
Pause. We'll play it again
it's
later.
brought up like a lot of Elvis stuff, obviously, on my feed, and going back to Austin Butler because he played Elvis in the movie and everything.
That's right.
And they were saying that like that Austin Butler got like really unprecedented access with the family when they were making that movie. Like he got to like play one of Elvis's guitars, like famous
That's
guitars.
crazy.
Well,
And
if I had someone
crazy.
playing a family member, I'd want them to fully know.
No, I know, but like think about Austin Butler.
I mean, add on
he
the
got
mystique of like it's Elvis. It's not
Yeah.
like a family member. It's like and
Right.
clearly the Nicolas Cage story tells me everything I need to know about
Nicolas
Homegirl.
Cage? Oh,
well,
or-
him too,
Lisa
obviously. But like
That doesn't remind me of
that
Nicolas
she
Cage at all.
held him in such high.
Yeah.
He's not your dad. He's the
Elvis.
star. He's Elvis.
Sure.
My dad is Elvis, and oh my gosh, that's Elvis's jacket. Like,
Also,
there's
he died-
obviously
he
some
died
trauma
when
going
she
on
was
there
really young, too.
Sure.
Oh my
So-
gosh,
Yeah.
could you imagine like being related to somebody like Elvis? I just sent you a TikTok a couple days ago where it was Elton John and Ozzy Osbourne in the same room.
So
and they were
cool.
like interacting like they were just buddies. And this is like probably 5 years ago. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is not like they're starting out. These are like iconic stars and they're in the same room like giving each other like a gift and just
So
like
weird.
I
like,
love
like
stuff
messing
like
around with
that.
it. And I'm like, that is mind blowing.
I've seen both of them.
There are people like I would say 10 people that define like an entire generation, and like to see two of them in the same room is
I love
insane.
like rock history stuff like that. Like
yeah.
my
Oh, see,
dad just
old
sent me a
school.
picture and it was like Dave Lee Roth hanging out backstage with the Beastie Boys. Like they're like
Crazy.
icons in their own rights, right? But then like they're just hanging out together, or like, Keith Richards is like backstage with Paul McCartney, just like coming to say hey. Like,
awesome.
It's just like so cool. And it wasn't even that long ago. Like you said, like Ozzy and Elton hanging out, like just rubbing elbows.
Oh yeah,
It's
and
like,
you think about it, they're like the same age.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
were like coming up at the same time.
Cut their
you
teeth
see
on it.
you see young Ozzy and young
Yeah.
Elton. They look similar, but they're from so different styles
Yeah.
and just like so different communities. It's like crazy. And I think that of Elvis too, like the fact that this guy, like he was only around. He died when he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
So how, there must be a threshold, right? And we've talked about this before, celebrity culture. Like, how is it that Ozzy and even Elton John is like so well adjusted, and he seems in every interview and every concert, like he's just like a really down to earth kind of guy.
You're talking about Elton John.
Elton John.
I was like, Ozzy
Not
Osbourne
Ozzy,
is
no.
not well adjusted.
well, whatever.
No.
Ozzy had
Ozzy
drug
Osbourne
issues, and
is-
He's gone.
okay, but
Guy's
even
crazy.
Ozzy, right, up against somebody like Michael Jackson towards the end of his career,
Yeah.
or Elvis Presley at the end, towards the end of his
Don't
career.
be a diddler.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying is like these guys shot like from the bottom
they got
to the
it.
top
They
so
figured it
quickly.
out.
They achieved something,
Yeah.
and their minds just the
Couldn't handle
rest
it.
of their life just collapse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because if you think about it, if you do the math, like Elvis and and Michael Jackson, they're like almost the same age as Elton and Ozzy.
Yeah.
Like they should
Yeah.
still be here.
Yeah.
Yep.
To some degree they should. And you're right. I mean, is there does it take some sort of adjustment, or is
There's
there some
kind
sort
of
like mid-course
social
correction you can make while
threshold, right?
Yeah.
That the amount of celebrity you
Do
can
you think
have.
Elvis would still be as iconic today if he
No.
was still alive?
No, I think
Probably not.
I think the
He'd
fact
be like
that
those old country singers.
It would be somebody
I think he would
I
have
don't
made
even
some
know who to-
racist comments. He would have made
John
He
Denver.
would have been canceled. I think
That's
also the
probably
fact
true.
that he married a 14-year-old would have really gone under the microscope if he was if he hadn't died a legend. I feel this is gonna be controversial.
This is good.
I feel the same way about JFK, where he's in history as this great president. And
We
I
only got,
truly
like,
think
2
it's only
years.
because he died.
Yeah, well.
And he was cute.
And
Well, there's a
if-
lot of momentum behind JFK. Everyone thought at the time that he was going to change politics, and then
This young
him
gun.
dying. It's kind of like the best movie. You know when a movie is so good when it ends on a point where you get to make up the end.
Sure.
It ends in
Sure.
ominous enough to go. I get to choose what I think should happen next.
It's all those 27 Club guys,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
Like Nirvana, at the height of Nirvana's career, Kurt Cobain kills himself. He's literally the biggest star
Yeah.
at that time.
Crazy.
Maybe potentially could have gone on to be of all time, but now he's this figure, this something that's greater than himself. I was just watching a video about Lennon McCartney. So Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Did you
Yes.
send this to me? Maybe you did, but
Maybe.
it's this idea where these were two best friends and they were at the top of their careers, right? And then they split ways. John dies, right? He
Yep.
gets murdered in the 80s, right? And he becomes this mythic figure. But Paul is still here. He's the other half
Yeah.
of this duo, and he has to go on. And he gets the older he gets, but John, for all intents and purposes, gets to stay the same
Yeah,
age.
stuck in
Yeah.
time.
And he's this iconic, mythic, almost mythic figure of John Lennon. Oh, what could he have done if his career wasn't cut short? And it's just kind of an interesting thing.
Absolutely.
The same kind of thing, like you were saying about
Well,
JFK.
people don't want to think about after that, just like how people think of Elvis as
Elvis.
cool
Think about how
Elvis.
much music
they
he
don't
didn't
think
write.
about how he looked at at the end. No one
Right.
cares about that.
Yeah, it causes me to analyze what was then and into what is now.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
because I constantly going you look at all these you look at the Beatles and all these things, and
Yeah.
I'm like, is there ever going to be a star? And even I'm gonna bring it even closer, Justin Bieber. When Justin Bieber was at his height at 14, he felt unstoppable.
Yeah,
Baby,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? So what has changed now? There isn't a star that I see who's shooting to fame in a way that stars used to shoot to fame. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's way more fleeting now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because there are so many different ways
I feel
to
like stars are
become a
doing
star.
so many more things now. It's not just
Yeah,
one big
absolutely.
goal.
Sure.
I think of Selena Gomez comes to mind.
Yeah.
She started on Disney Channel, had a great music career,
Right.
and then she ended up having lupus. She's sick.
Right.
Took a knee. Now she's back acting again. Still
And
putting out
she's kind of
music,
this
and she
star
has her
in her-
own makeup company
in a different way now. I mean, I think the same thing about Harry Styles too.
Yeah. People are spreading
Yeah,
out
but
their
I'm saying,
fame.
why is that the case? Because I get diversifying and keeping yourself relevant, and maybe that's the way
Yeah.
you do it now. But Elvis and all these iconic stars we've mentioned, they just do their one thing, and they're
Yeah.
so good at this one thing, or
Yeah.
at least perceivably in society, they're the best, and they shoot to fame. Why do you have to be?
Maybe it's a money
6
thing.
I
different
think it's the
things?
internet. I mean, when Elvis became the star he was, it was because like TV got invented. You know, there was
TV.
suddenly this
You're
box
right.
in your house, and it didn't have a million channels. We didn't have YouTube where like,
You had, like,
everyone
4.
has their own channel. It was this is the channel that comes through. Conan talks about it all the time on his podcast about how they had this crappy TV, and it was like, well, what are we watching? Well, whatever comes through. Like, this is what's on, and it's a video of Elvis on Ed Sullivan. And not only are you watching it, but everyone that's got a
Everyone in
TV
the
is
world.
watching it. So it's like, who's the star? It's Elvis, right? And then it was the Beatles because like they were the one, you know. And as time goes on, then we have MTV, and there's more stars, and and as more and more time goes on, it's
it kind of gets diluted. Yeah.
maybe, you know, and we've talked of this before, like maybe that means now the best is going to rise to the top, but I don't know. It's like such a different world now in this like sphere of entertainment, and
I think it really
culture
started in the 80s with all the one-hit wonders. Maybe
sure.
the 70s.
You get your minute of fame or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think it's so interesting.
and then artist to the next artist to the next artist.
Yeah, and I like I said,
I do
blows
think
my mind a
we
little bit.
do want that though. I mean, there's still a reason why Beyonce is the greatest, right? Everyone loves
Totally.
Beyonce, and I think she's what? Go ahead.
My students told me that SZA is
SZA.
their Beyonce.
SCA.
Yes.
Yes, SZA.
She just came
I'm-
out
I'm
with a
hip
new
to-
album, and
Yes.
I guess it's really
I can't
good.
say I'm hip to her, but my sister is definitely like got
Yeah.
her finger on the pulse. She always does.
Yeah,
Not
she always
one.
does.
Hey.
But
Got
her finger on the pulse.
they
She always
told me
does.
that they're like SZA's like, and they're like,
Beyonce's
how do
for
we
the
tell
millennials.
They're like, how do we
That's-
just explain who SZA is to her?
I mean, that's
And they're
somebody
like,
that
she's
doesn't-
like
Oh my
Beyonce
gosh, that's
for
so
us.
incredibly
That's somebody
And I
that
was like-
doesn't understand who Beyonce is.
Yeah.
The
I was
cultural
like,
impact of
Beyonce for you, Beyonce's for everyone.
Yeah.
How dare you?
That's like
Well, and also like, I think that's
people were
kind of
comparing-
bold to say a little bit because Beyonce like has not only been this icon for so long.
Yes.
Like SZA, sure she might, whoever SZA is, but like how long has SZA been around?
No,
Like,
not yet.
Like not even a month. I don't know. I just don't know. But
No, she's been around for a long time, but she really blew up during like COVID.
And like
can't
TikTok
be an icon.
sounds.
I think
Not
people
yet.
throw stuff like that around a lot, and I think it's hard to do it when it's happening, and you can only ever do it like looking back.
You know
I
who
think-
is an icon?
who?
Miley Cyrus.
She is, and she
I heard about this tea.
Freaking
This
icon.
freaking
so
sensitive.
good.
She released
Did you watch this music video, John?
her single
I watched it. It was a lot.
It's alarming.
Flowers.
and then I start to
Amazing.
read all the the sub things.
yeah.
I'm
I
like,
listened to it first and I was like, okay.
Cara, give us
and
the
then I was
rundown.
like, oh shoot, there's a music video. We watched this music video. Find out that she shoots this music video in the house that Liam Hemsworth cheated on her in.
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
his secret getaway house.
My
Get it.
God.
She in this music video, she's wearing like freaking like 1994 like outfit that's in a museum, just like showing how great she is. And then she strips down to lingerie and does Liam Hemsworth's workout in her
Like his
lingerie.
licensed workout.
because he told
Amazing.
her when he was cheating on her at the house she filmed it at that he was going to work out.
Yeah.
That's what was his
Oh,
excuse.
so she's
So
working
she's working
out in that house.
in that
in her
house.
lingerie,
In
and
the
she
lingerie.
Doing
freaking
what
is
he wasn't.
ripped.
Oh,
and then
my God.
Then at the end, you see her. She's showering. She puts on this outfit, and it's his suit from the Avengers premiere, where she
Yeah.
pretends to lick his face, and he turns to her and says, "Can you just behave for once?"
Can you just behave
Normal,
for once?
And
yeah.
she's wearing this suit with like no shirt underneath, just dancing, her hair wet.
Yes.
And there's also rumors that it's the suit that they got married
married in.
into.
You know what I
Also-
found?
I heard one too.
The Bruno Mars thing.
lyrics.
yeah,
Yes.
the sampling
Apparently,
of Bruno
Sampling.
Mars.
their wedding, right? Because
Yeah.
they were married.
He dedicated the
He
song.
dedicated "When I Was Your Man," right?
Yep.
To her, and it's but the lyrics of this
I
new
could
song
buy you
echo those
flowers.
lyrics. I
Yeah.
can
I
buy
can
my
buy
own
myself
flowers. I can hold
flowers.
my own hand.
I thought
can
it was a
talk for
licensing
hours.
issue, and then when they were talking about it, I thought, oh, no,
Amazing.
another
She literally
licensing.
sampled it.
I guarantee Bruno is probably like, yeah, that's cool. I
Well,
need
also,
that.
Do it,
Bruno's
girl, do
brand
it.
has
So
changed so
awesome.
much.
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
he's not attached to that old catalog. But
Oh my gosh,
I'm
He'd
so
probably
excited for
appreciate
her.
it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her whole album.
That is so.
That's
I'll tell you,
so
I,
good.
I'd
And
see
it's
Miley
so
on
catchy.
tour. You know she's doing a tour. I think her tour would be freaking lit.
I'd fully go.
I'd
She's
love
got
to see her.
so many classics.
Yeah.
You
Oh
guys,
my gosh.
Hannah Montana Jonas Brothers was my first concert.
Whoa.
Was it really?
The fact that they did that is
Was
cried.
Hannah Montana? I knew it was Jonas Brothers. I didn't know Hannah Montana was
Jonas
there.
Brothers opened for
I'm starting
Hannah
to- I'm starting to
Montana.
realize that you cry a lot at a lot of things, Cara.
Well, this was my
Movies.
first concert, and I got
Concerts.
surprised at Soup Plantation on Sports Arena.
Maybe you should try crying, John.
Yeah,
No, I won't.
maybe
think you
try.
should.
Maybe next year.
Okay, just a 1 a year kind of thing on your
Well, no, I'm
anniversary.
just saying, like every
Yeah.
movie we talk about, I feel like Cara's like, I cried the first time I watched
If
that.
it's worth talking about,
That's
sure.
true. You're right. You're
Sure.
right. You're right.
You gotta
you're right.
let it leak.
Dude,
Come on.
that is
Really.
so iconic. You know what would
love
be
her.
awesome?
What?
Is if she did a tour of Hannah Montana. Do you think it's?
They would never let her.
Do you think that's
Disney has
traumatizing, dude?
What's
They could
weird?
make
What's weird
a
is
freaking
that
Yeah, of
$1 billion
course.
from that.
Disney, with all the kids who are on Disney now, they let freaking Olivia Rodrigo like fully
What?
cuss in all of her songs
Oh, because
while
the
on
brand is
Disney
changing.
Channel. Like,
Because the kids
yeah.
are getting older.
It's
is the
fully
problem.
changing.
Now. It's
Yes,
cool now.
yes, it's cool. And the kids are on TikTok, and
I will say Disney.
There's no rules on TikTok.
is-
When freaking Miley Cyrus
The
did
most-
"I Can't Be Tamed," she got in so
yeah,
much
she got
trouble.
blackballed for Wrecking Ball or something.
Yeah.
No, I
right.
Can't Be Tamed was when she was on Disney Channel, and that was the big like,
That's
whoa,
okay.
she's being
I'm
sexy.
remembering that. Sexy Miley Cyrus.
Yeah,
Sexy man.
she's always
She
been
was in the
sexy.
birdcage.
Sexy
Do you remember
man.
she was in the
That was
birdcage?
certainly Miley
Yes.
Cyrus was most definitely like
I love her.
one of my first like Disney Channel crushes.
Really?
Like TV
That was
crushes.
my favorite show on Disney Channel.
I was like,
I don't know who my first
Miley.
Disney crush was.
Disneyland crush,
Disney Channel
crush.
crush. All right.
the Queen of Hearts,
oh,
Wow.
mine was probably it
the
was
Mad Hatter
probably
walking around
Yes,
in a costume.
Yes.
it was
Mickey and
probably
Minnie.
Queen of
Gordo.
Hearts.
Are you a
Elizabeth
Minnie or are you a Daisy
Gordo,
Duck? kinda?
Gordo was great.
Ooh, that's a
Yes.
good question. I don't know. I guess
A Minnie or a Daisy Duck?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's an easy
There's
answer.
only one right answer.
I'm nervous now. Is it Minnie? Is Minnie the right answer?
Wrong.
No.
No,
It's
Daisy.
Daisy Duck.
It's Daisy.
It's obviously Daisy.
She's freaky. Daisy Duck.
I can see
You
that.
know
I
she's
can see
into some
that.
like weird duck
She's
stuff.
like,
Well, yeah.
she's sassier than Minnie. Minnie's
Yeah.
too sweet.
Yeah.
Daisy's
Well,
got an
Minnie
attitude.
has a brand to uphold. She can't be that way.
I saw
Daisy's-
this
Also, Daisy
whole, like,
walking around with
video
straight up
essay
no
about. Did you guys
pants.
ever watch
True.
The House of Mouse?
Yes.
That cartoon
Sure
review.
did.
It was this show on like
It was on Disney.
like Disney like cartoon.
Kids.
But it was what was it? Toon Disney. It was on Toon
Yeah.
Disney, right?
Nice.
And it was like Mickey like owned a nightclub, and they were like always like doing stuff in
loved
the
The
nightclub.
House of Mouse.
But then they would cut to like it was
The
like
evil
SNL. Like
villains.
he'd cut to a clip, and it was like they'd play an old cartoon or something.
Didn't the
And it
evil
was, like,
villains take over one episode?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
But this
Yeah.
guy did this like video essay on TikTok that was like, okay, so like, is he a celebrity or like, how does
An
he get all the?
entrepreneur? Like,
Yes.
what is this?
So funny. Oh my god.
What major company in the vein of Disney
Sure.
do you think would be the first to like do a Truman Show, like adopt a
Real Truman Show?
a human and like create a world?
They're
and make
doing
a whole
it. Fox
show?
News is doing it. Yeah. they're creating their own world
No,
bubble.
it would
that
be
these people
ABC
live in.
Family.
Go ahead.
They would buy Sister Wives from TLC.
Yeah.
And they would adopt a new sister wife who would have no idea that they were famous. Raise her up, like in this bubble.
I was just gonna
You're-
stick
you're
with
really
TLC.
trying to push.
I was
this
just gonna
sister
stay
wife
with
thing.
TLC.
Does Disney own TLC?
I
No.
cannot believe.
I think-
everyone.
Do they?
If you watch the show, if you're a fan of What the Podcast, you know that we are on Wife Watch.
Wife Watch.
Wife Watch.
Sister Wife Watch.
Wait, we don't get a Wife Watch
Sorry.
song.
Sorry.
This week on
Wife Watch.
If you've made it this far in the episode,
Hey,
welcome to what you've been waiting for.
Wife Watch.
Wife Watch.
the Wife Watch is getting incredibly
Wife Watch,
boring
it's-
because we're
No, guys, I'm really holding out. I have faith in this one that she's gonna also leave.
she's not gonna leave.
We're down to one wife.
Okay,
The
so we're
wives
down to
of Cody
formerly
Brown.
4 sister wives.
4 sister wives. We're just monogamous now.
Just a single.
One.
What about all the kids?
Wife. The kids. That's the best
that's the
freaking
best
part.
Yeah, it's true.
The kids have their own TikToks, their own YouTube channels, and they're reacting to the episodes of Sister
Oh
Wives coming out.
my
And then
God.
there's all this infighting of like, he's a racist, she's ignorant,
Oh.
he's transphobic, she's transgender.
Infighting of the
like,
kids.
All, this stuff. All the kids are like,
Oh, yeah, this
are
is
like
wild.
outing everything.
What's the girl that's speaking out right
Gwendolyn.
now? Gwendolyn.
How are the
Gwendolyn.
kids not like signing NDAs? Wouldn't they?
It's TLC,
It's
bro.
TLC, man.
Yeah,
Free
they're
for all.
It's all cheddar
It's-
for them.
it's the
Hey, they're
Truman
going,
Show.
any press is good press.
Any press is good press for them. So
Man.
we're down to one wife.
We're down to one wife,
and
it
it's the
came out
most
today.
recent wife.
It's the most recent wife. The most recent wife, the one that like Sob and Robin.
We kind of knew,
everyone-
right? Did Mary
Yeah.
was Mary the
Robin,
last one to leave?
Mary was the last one to
Because
leave.
she was
And
kind of
Mary
loveless
was what?
anyway.
What
Like,
number? So
Mary was
Mary
the
was
one that
one.
got catfished. So she's the one that had the emotional affair and then got
Mary was
catfished.
OG.
the
OG,
very
she was
first
the
wife was
first
still
wife.
holding on.
OG.
Yeah, she
And
was
then she
holding
got
on.
got.
And
Wow.
then and she got got.
No, she
And
got
she's-
herself, I should say.
It was Mary, Janelle,
Christine, and Robin.
And Robin's the latest. And she's
Robin's the
one left.
only one left.
Wow.
So
Robin
who
joined
left
the
first? 2 or
gang.
3?
No,
Three.
3.
3 left, then 2 left.
3 left.
Now 1 has left, and we're left with 4.
Whoa, that's.
It's big
I don't know
stuff.
if I would have. Well, I guess it kind of started like a last in, first out thing.
Mary,
Yeah.
by the way, like 2 seasons ago, Cody is the main guy,
Right.
And he basically told Mary like on air, like on an episode, said like, I don't want to be intimate with you anymore.
Oh,
like,
my
it's,
God.
Like it was very loveless.
Oh, yeah,
A
he's basically
long
like, we
time
can
ago.
be
the whole
friends.
point that he wants to be intimate with all of them.
Yeah,
Like, why
no.
would you keep adding wives?
So Mary was kind of
weird.
holding on, but Mary only has 2 kids with him.
No, she's 1.
One kid with him.
She's 1 kid. So she
Okay.
had all these
He's like,
infertility issues. And then, like,
that's
she was trying to get pregnant still. And I think eventually, like, he just was like,
We're good.
yeah, I
can't
don't want
get
any
any
more
He
kids
more
said,
with
kids.
you
you.
know what? We're good.
Yeah, it's like this whole thing. And
really
her one
sad.
kid is named Leon.
Leon?
And is transgender or non-binary.
Okay.
I don't want to get this wrong, but
Yeah.
but goes by Leon now, and like there's been, and Gwendolyn is one of the like
Janelle's, right?
is Janelle's, and she's been on she started this YouTube series watching the episodes and reacting to them and like
being like, "That's not
pausing.
true. They cut this
and
part out."
She's like, what's funny is this, and what's the
Oh,
you know
wow.
she and like
That's
Robin
so
will be
baller.
like,
I
I try
love
to
that.
keep up with all the kids, and she'll like pause and she's like, she didn't even call me on my birthday. Like I called her on her birthday and she didn't even answer. I like
Wow.
you know.
Whoa.
But she
like a house of cards,
so
man.
then
The whole
like we were
thing's coming
saying,
down. Makes
me
all
wanna
the
watch
kids
it.
start fighting because like they're all saying like, oh well, these kids are like transphobic and keep on using Leon's dead name and all these people, and like, you know, they're homophobic because Gwendolyn is married to a woman, and there's like all this stuff about like all the kids just coming out and
Dang.
I
being
think
like,
Gwendolyn is actually Christine's daughter because I think Janelle has 2 boys. I'm pretty sure.
I think Janelle has multiple. She has like
really?
a gaggle. But I think you're right.
wow.
Gwendolyn is, I believe,
Because
Christine's.
Christine references Gwen a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't
She-
know.
no,
So we're gonna watch the show.
Are we
should start
taking
watching it.
bets on
I-
when number 4? Because
I want 4 to
4 is
leave.
inevitably going to
Because
leave, right?
No.
Four's whole thing,
Unless-
her whole brand was, I didn't want a marriage. I wanted a family. I wanted sister wives. I wanted so they're
Oh,
part
she's
of the.
gonna leave.
She's part of.
Well,
They're part
she's
of
gotta
the
leave now.
FLDS, the fundamentalist Mormon Church.
Yes.
And they're fundamentalist Latter-day Saints.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so they've asked all the kids and asked all these people, like, would you just want to be a part of the Mormon Church? And they're like, no. Their whole
Even though they're
religion
like-
is like multiple wives, like that's their thing. And if you don't have multiple wives, you can't get into heaven, all this stuff. Like,
So he's on the lookout for another wife.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think Robin will leave. One thing that
I think Robin's gonna
a
leave.
couple of things I'll say about it is that I didn't realize this until I started digging into it, but a lot of these women are from polyamorous or polygamy families.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Janelle.
Janelle-
she's
Janelle
from
was
she's a
originally- no,
second
listen to
wife's
this.
daughter or something.
Janelle was originally a second wife to Mary's brother, the first wife's brother, and then divorced her brother and married
So it's
Cody.
all
But I
kind
guess
of,
it's all, there's no rules, right?
rules, no
Because
rules.
Free for
everybody's
all.
got a ton of wives.
And they're all like
So they went
spiritual
from
marriages
sister-in-laws to sisters.
to sister wives.
But didn't Cody get divorced to Mary and legally married Robin because of some sort of custody?
To
battle?
adopt her kids from another marriage.
Yeah. Oh. So, but that was also a big infighting because it was like everyone is told when you come on as a second and third and fourth is that hey, that we can't legally get married, obviously, you know.
Yeah,
So
'cause
the
it's
fact that
illegal.
he divorced
Mm-hmm.
Mary as some sort of functional thing to do it with Robin, they all look into that more and they go like, well, did he have to marry Robin to legally adopt these kids? Like, you know, there's like all these questions.
But it was but it's all, you know, for, I would imagine it means more to these people.
I don't
Because
think he's not gonna. Robin's not gonna leave because
That's what I'm
Robin.
thinking.
I
I'm
believe
holding
Robin
out
and
for
Cody
her.
are
Wife
actually in
watch.
love.
I think I'm going that she's gonna leave because
All right.
everything she wants. She joined a family of 5. You know,
Yeah,
like
you know,
she
but
wanted to
that's-
be number 4.
Sure, but
And now she's not getting
But now
that.
she could be number 1, and then
She never
go
wanted
out and
that.
find more wives. She could be top
But,
dog.
but she
Maybe she
saw,
wanted to
but
be
she
top
saw
wife.
what. Okay, but
I think she's orchestrated all this. I think she's been putting stuff in Cody's head
Because-
to break these marriages
Because
up.
you know what, 3 was the magic number. If he would have not married 4, right?
Yeah.
And now
then he
she's
wouldn't have-
1. We'll find 2 more, and they'll live the rest of their lives as a happy blended family.
Wow.
He already has like
So many kids.
20 kids, 18 kids.
many
He's
kids.
sired
He's not getting
18
two.
children.
There's no way in hell he's going to convince 2 more women.
I bet.
Hey,
I'll put my
listen,
money on that he
Hollywood-
finds another wife in 2023.
you know what? I might go that way because if the whole point is getting to heaven, you need more wives. He's like, okay, there's a deficit here. I need at least one more wife.
I
Okay.
lost 3.
You
sure,
can't have
sure.
sister wives.
Adjust my predictions.
Sure, I
still
lost
think
3, but
that-
I could get 5 more.
I think we're going to end 2023 with 0 wives.
You're
I think it's going
saying
to be 0.
a net positive
Pass.
of 0.
0. And
You
you
are out of your
think there's
mind.
going to be
If
a
you think
net positive?
Cody is going to enter 2024 as a single man, you're out of your
Oh,
mind.
yeah. Hell yeah. I think that
No.
this whole thing is going to
You
crash
know,
and burn so hard, and
it's
she's
hard to
going to
say,
save
'cause it
face
looks-
and pull out.
It looks like it's going that way. If we're
No,
following the trends
Robin's
here,
doubling down.
He's gone down. 75% of his wives are gone now.
The one thing he likes about Robin is that Robin is very loyal and she will not speak up or say anything. That's the one thing
right.
they all say
That's why
about
it
her.
works.
So why would she leave? She's all of a sudden she's gonna
But now
change
she has,
her
she
now
has
she
no
has to deal with him
personality. She
constantly.
has no personality now because her whole life was caught up in like, oh, I did it. I'm a sister wife. Now
Yeah.
she's not. Now what is she? She's just
a wife.
a wife.
I got $10 that says not only does he not go to 0, but he gains a new sister wife in 2023.
Either way, I'd love to see it, but I hope it's mine because I like to be right.
I think I might fall on the Annie side. I think it's
All right.
trending
Kara, what do you
downward.
think? Kara, what do you think?
More wives or less wives?
I think he's gonna stay the same.
You think he's going to retain the one wife
He's gonna
and not?
go full monogamous. That they're gonna ditch the church and stuff.
No, I think
Oh,
he's going
that's interesting.
No way. He's going
Yes.
to keep the one wife, but he's not going to like it. He's not going to enjoy it.
I
He's
can't
going
wait
to be
meet
like,
his
I
new
wish
wife.
I had more than one
I
wife.
can't wait to meet his new wife this year.
Do you think you'll get an invite to the wedding?
I hope.
Honestly, let's tag him in this.
Wow. Join us next
and
week for Wife Watch.
Watch.
On the couch as always, Cara Tafolla, Annie the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on
What the Podcast? Wife watch.
Watch.